What's going on, guys? It's Patreon. It's been a minute. It's been like 3 weeks. Holy crap. It's been a while. I'm surprised I was even able to get on here. If you hear a cat hacking and coughing in the background, I'm sorry. My cat's not doing too well. Took him to the vet. Found out. Took him to the vet today. Found out it's one of two things, but we need X-rays to find out if more. And those are $110 each. Holy crap! I didn't realize they were that much. I thought they were. I thought someone told me they were $30 a piece, but nope, 110. So, still working on that. He hasn't eaten in like 3 days. Not drank anything. He's just awful. It's awful. But hey, it is what it is. I'm going to do a Indianapolis Colts, or not Indianapolis Colts. I'm going to do a Super Bowl preview for my Believe show, which will drop tomorrow. Tonight, I'm going to kind of go over a little bit about the Super Bowl. If anyone shows up, we'll probably talk about other stuff. But right now, there's not a whole lot to discuss when it comes to NFL. Drew Ogletree still with the Indianapolis Colts, not, hasn't been released, with the domestic battery charge. So that says something. That's been well over a month since that's happened. Pretty interesting situation. T.Y. Hilton was on the Zaire Franklin's podcast this past week. They had a lot to say about stuff as well. You might go check that out sometime. It's actually a pretty good, interesting thing. I do want to go over a few things this week with some content. Obviously, film rooms as well. This month, while I'm talking, they will be announcing who's going into the Hall of Fame. So that'll be an interesting thing as well. Obviously, Dwight Freeney and Reggie Wayne have shots to make the Hall of Fame this year. So we're looking at that. I hope they make it. I don't know if they will. It's just going to take time for both those guys. I know that they will make it at some point, both of them. But I just don't know if it'll be this year. There will probably be some people that a lot of people will be like, why is he making it over this person? And because that happens every year. Every year that happens. And I understand, there's some biasness in that. Devin Hester, for instance, who was a return specialist. One of the best, to ever do it, right? But because he was just a return specialist, not really big on offense or defense, people are like, why would he be a first ballot? But I mean, he made some pretty impactful plays. I mean, he exploded that Super Bowl, Colts Bears, right? First play right out the gate for a touchdown. Can't believe that Indianapolis kicked it to him right out the gate. That was dumb. Oh, I got a lot to get off my chest when it comes to my last video. I still liked the Nate Ollie. I liked Nate Ollie, and I don't like that they got rid of him. But Partridge, he's an up-and-comer. We'll see how that works out. If I look tired and worn out, you know why. I've already discussed it. I just realized how tired and worn out I look. Oh, but I've been trying to get a hold of Donald. He said something about he had time to do a stream last week and never got back with me. So he's a busy guy doing a lot of work, especially now that it's the off season. Running around talking to college guys that are going into the draft. So cough medicine, throat. I've been coughing a lot, so much so that my shoulder starts hurting every time I cough. So I'm trying to hold that back a little bit. Well, I just want to say I don't like the idea that people think that, I don't like that people want to take what Brock Purdy has done this year and downplay it because he's got playmakers, right? Yes, he's got playmakers. I'm not denying that. But he's a playmaker as well. People want to say that he does not lift the team, that, he doesn't win games for the team. That's all complete and utter BS. I mean, complete BS. Play breaks down. He's able to escape the pocket, extend the play, and make things happen. All right. He's not, Jimmy Garoppolo, where he's just sitting in the pocket as a system quarterback and delivering. Yes. Does he benefit from the system around him and the players around him? Absolutely. So would Patrick Mahomes, right? So would Josh Allen, right? So would Lamar Jackson. Anytime you have a system and players like what San Francisco has, everybody is going to, have good success there. But not at the level Brock Purdy is having. That's the thing. Brock Purdy is had extended, like, really, really high success. I mean, he blew Patrick Mahomes out of the water this year in every statistical category, right? He had less attempts and less completions, but more yards, more touchdowns, better completion percentage, and less interceptions. And I mean, my goodness. I mean, that's got to say a lot, right? I mean, that's got to say a lot. Look, Patrick Mahomes had 600 pass attempts. 600. Brock Purdy only had about 450. So about 150 less pass attempts. But he had, what, 100 more yards passing? Right? 4 more touchdowns and 3 less interceptions. That's just the passing numbers. Okay? That's just passing numbers. My goodness. He averaged 9 yards a carry when he ran the football. That's what a lot of people are not realizing. I mean, he ran the ball 39 times, okay, for 144 yards. That's 9 yards, or no, I'm sorry, not 9 yards an attempt, 9 yards a game. 3.7 yards an attempt. Patrick Mahomes did average more than that, 5.2, but hell, he had to run twice as many times. Look, I like Patrick Mahomes. And yes, Patrick Mahomes had some drops this year from his receivers. I like Patrick Mahomes. I don't like the people that are around Patrick Mahomes. And I'm not even talking about the players, I'm talking about like, you know, girlfriend, brother, all that neat stuff. And then of course you got the whole situation of him and Kelsey, one of the best duos in the league. But I mean, Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey work incredibly well together. Don't get it messed up. I mean, those two guys do a fan-freaking-tastic job. All right. But Purdy's pretty good. He is pretty good. And I hate that people downplay him and act like, it's just because he's in the system, He's played better than anyone's played since Steve Young, okay, for San Francisco. Absolutely. And he does extend plays. And he's still young, too. That's the thing, okay? Of course he's not going to be a guy that they're wanting to go out and do a bunch of stuff with because he's a 7th-round pick. And on top of that, it's only his 2nd year. He's still got a lot to learn in the league. Holy crap. Think about that. A lot to learn in the NFL. Purdy is going to be a really good quarterback. I honestly feel that. But really the question is, who's going to win the Super Bowl, right? Nobody wants to see the Chiefs win, do they? I mean, other than Chiefs fans. But they've got the experience. And they've been there. They've done that. They seem to find ways to win when it matters. Okay? They beat the teams that they need to beat in order, and it's not like they had an easy road. It's not like they had an easy road, okay? They finished the season 11-6. And then they beat the Dolphins, who, let's be fair, was on a downslide, right? Was on a downslide. And they beat them pretty easily, right, in the wild card round. And then the Buffalo Bills, who was on an upswing, right? Buffalo was actually playing better the last month than what they had previously. And they ended up beating them. A lot of controversy in that game, but still. And then they edged out Baltimore, who had the best record in the AFC. And a lot of people thought Baltimore was going to win that game. And they edged them out. The defense actually plays pretty good. They only allowed 7 points to Miami. They gave up 24 to Buffalo, but giving up 24 to Buffalo is not shameful. Okay. And then they only gave up 10 points to the Ravens, to Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. That's the thing. The defense is better for Chiefs than what people give them credit for. They just look at the offense and think, well, that's what the Chiefs are, but they're not. They have an offense as well, or they got a defense as well. And they're pretty darn good defense overall. Now, San Francisco, their defense ain't bad either, okay? But they are known to give up some points occasionally. They are absolutely known to give up some points. Let's see here. How many times have they given up? Oh, there's my cat. Over 20 points. They've only allowed less than 20 points. Let's see. One. Oh no, I was looking at the wrong thing. Most of the time they only give up less than 20. They've only given up over 20 a few times. Oh, my kitty cat. I'm sorry, buddy. I warned you this might happen. I got to get him some x-rays, but I haven't got that $110. San Francisco Front seven, very, very good. They got pass rush. They got linebackers. Their secondary is their weakness, right? That's the big deal. If you could stop their initial push, the best way to beat them is yak yards. That's the best way. You throw short on, crossing patterns, screens, things of that nature. Something to get you some yak yards. That's how you beat San Fran. Because you don't want to put your quarterback in a position where he's stepping back into the pocket and waiting for receivers to get downfield. I get that Patrick Mahomes is good and he can absolutely extend the play occasionally. But this, like I said, this pass rush, they can get after you, and I wouldn't want to put Patrick Mahomes in a situation if I was the Chiefs to do that, to put everything on Patrick Mahomes' shoulders. You have some the Chiefs has some speed. It's not like the Niners are the only team that has speed on their team. Now, obviously, guys like Debo and Christian and stuff like that and Kittle, they have speed and power both, which is a scary combination. But don't rely on Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce all game. You can't. All right. And you're going to want to, and I hate to say this, and a lot of people might get angry with me. Don't play man. I wouldn't play man coverage against defensively against the Niners. I'd play a lot of zone. Keep everything in front of me because these guys can break big plays. Keep everything, allow everything in front, make them make a mistake. All right. That's how you beat the Niners. That's the only way. You got to keep them from having those explosive plays, which, they live off of. They live off those explosive plays, especially if you're playing man-to-man. Man-to-man, the Niners have got 3 or 4 guys that can beat man-to-man, no problem, man-to-man coverage, including their running back. Okay? So play zone, but get after the quarterback at the same time, obviously. Don't allow the, Brock Purdy the time to sit in the pocket and, hit the guy on the slant across the middle in an open spot of the zone. You got to go after him. Now, with the Chiefs, man-to-man might be the best. San Francisco might want to play man-to-man coverage because they don't have a lot of guys that can beat man-to-man. The only one that can really beat man-to-man consistently is Travis Kelce, and you might be able to put a spy on him, right? Have a spy on Kelce and play zone. Might help. But obviously Mahomes, he can run around too, so kind of difficult to play a double spy while playing zone. I mean you can, but you're going to leave a wider zone to try to cover. That's going to be difficult on teams. Like I said, I think this is a game. This is a game where I feel like on paper the Niners should win this game. I honestly feel like the Niners should win this game. But the Chiefs, I don't know, like I said, man, their defense is better than people give them credit for. They play more of a physical style of football than what they did 2 years ago. It's going to be and they find ways to win. They just find ways to win, especially in the postseason. I'm still going to go with Niners to win the Super Bowl, though. But either team winning would not shock me in the least bit. I don't know who's going to be playing halftime. Let me look at that real quick. Oh, Super Bowl halftime. Is it J-Lo? The My Boo singer? I don't know who that is. And Usher. Okay. Oh, Usher. Okay. I don't even know if I know an Usher song. I don't listen to him specifically. All right. Someone told me they thought J-Lo was doing it again. It's good to actually look it up and make sure for yourself, right? But to be fair, people like Usher. Of course, I've heard of Usher. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I've probably heard some of his songs. I just couldn't tell you any of them specifically off the top of my head. I don't really listen to the radio too much, and I don't specifically listen to R&B. So, I don't listen to the radio ever unless I'm in someone else's car and they're listening to the radio. I'm more of I listen to my music. Now, I do like R&B, but from my generation, right? So, or earlier. I don't really keep up with today's R&B or even in the last 15 years R&B. Okay. Well, we still got about 8 minutes left. Let's talk about something else, shall we? I'm not going to give a point spread on the Super Bowl as of yet. Now, here's a question. I'll spend the last 8 minutes talking about something. The conspiracy theorists, these conspiracy theories about the NFL being rigged, scripted, already know who's going to win before the game ever plays, that type of situation. I don't think that's true. Players don't feel like that's true. Otherwise, you wouldn't want to play, This is actual sports. This isn't, professional wrestling. I get that. Yes. Okay. So that's scripted somewhat. WWE, absolutely. I understand that. Professional wrestling is that way. But basketball, the NFL, baseball, that there's no script there. Sometimes players just have bad plays. Okay. I think it was, who was it that said that? Was it Zaire? Sometimes you screw up bad because they're human beings. They're all human and you mess up. And then other times, the only thing that really hurts is referees, right? Referees making game-changing calls. But can you say that? The problem is, it's like throughout a game, you will see calls made or not made. People want to focus at the end of half or the end of game. But as long as it's consistent call, I'm okay with it, right? If you're calling pass interference on a player, it better have been consistent throughout the whole game. People want to bring up different well, he just called this offsides for the offensive offsides, Well, yeah, I mean, if it happens, it happens. And apparently, the referee would tell the guy, I warned you over and over and over, and then finally he wouldn't do it, wouldn't fix it, and then he just decided, okay, I'm gonna throw the flag now because he's breaking the rules. All right. I get that. I understand that. And there's a legit argument at times, on some plays. Obviously, referees at the heat of the moment on the flag do not have every angle to look at the play, right? Because most penalties are not reviewable. They're just what they see right there. They got to make that call. Okay. At an angle, when you got to throw and you see like a PI or something, and you're like, that might be pass interference. I'm going to throw the flag. But the ball's lands 15 yards out of bounds. But from his angle, it doesn't look like it. It looked like it might have been catchable, because it's all about angles of view, right? So I give them passes on that, on some stuff, because it's heat of the moment. And referees are not robots either, right? They're human beings as well. They're going to make a mistake occasionally. The NFL admits to mistakes occasionally. But you can't call a perfect game. You just can't. Right? And you're not going to sit here and say that, that the referees favored one team over the other, when you can look at every game and go, well, this team and this team were both, holding defensively or holding offensively, or, this is definitely pass interference on both, or offensive OPI on both, that kind of stuff. You could see it either way. And generally, you're not going to see incredibly lopsided calling in games. You're not going to see 20 penalties on one team and 2 on the other, and then go back on the film and go, well, this should have been closer than what it actually, was the game at the end. Most of the time, they're pretty good at what they do. I'm not saying, oh, poor baby. I don't know how much longer he's going to last. I'm not saying that referees should be let off the hook every time either, though. But I think that you give these guys full-time employment. You give certain NFL refs full-time employment. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. They can afford to pay some refs full-time so that they actually work full-time as refs, because these refs are all part-timers. They're only doing it during a little bit during the off season, and during games, so it's not like they're working on a daily basis perfecting their craft, perfecting being a referee. I think if you're going to be a professional referee, then that sport needs to pay them as full-time employees so they can put forth the full-time effort into being as good as what they can. I think that would fix a lot of problems. I'm not saying hire every referee or judge or field judge or anything of that nature. Hire them all at full time. Maybe start with, the head ref. Make sure you have a head ref for each game as a full-time employee, so that he could put forth all the effort and make the final call at each game, so that, he has more pull than all the other ones. Obviously, go by what the other refs see, because, he may not have the best angle. The guy who, called the flag or whatnot probably has the best angle, but still have a full-time guy there, in each game, and have him as the head. See how that goes for a year. And if we see some kind of improvement, then up the ante. Make it 2 or 3 guys, full-time employees per game. Have enough that you can do that with, is what I'm saying. Have enough full-time employees where you got at least one a game start off. See how that works out. That's just my suggestion. Because let's face it, referees are refereeing for maybe 16 hours a week. And that's at most. 3 hours during a game, right? And it's literally just an hour of football time, but 3 hours, is what it takes to play the game. And then, an hour for three practices throughout the week. That's all they're refereeing. And yes, they referee practices, but practices, they're not that good. It's not that real, and they're shorter timed, and it's just the same team over and over and over that they're, practicing with as referees. So, all right, guys, I think that's going to do it for this Patreon. Appreciate each and every one of you. I will be getting my videos out again. Let you know if you can help with coming up with a little extra money so that I can get him some x-rays to find out exactly what's wrong with him. Found out it's one of 2 things for my cat. It's either A, we did find out he has a heart murmur today at the vet. So that legitimately could be his problem. But it also could be he swallowed a foreign object, like piece of plastic, string, stuff like that, got in his gut, got in his intestines, or stuck in his throat, stuff, things of that nature. Need an x-ray to be able to determine whether or not it's a foreign object or not. If it's not a foreign object, then we could focus on the murmur, or asthma. Because they say it could be asthma, and he might be having asthma attacks, and it's really bad, but they don't think that that's probably the case, since his environment hasn't changed any. He still has the same cat litters, that kind of stuff. So, but I still got to come up with $110 for that. Any help is appreciated. That's going to do it for this Patreon. Appreciate each and every one of you. Hope you have a wonderful week. And let me know in the comments who you think is going to win the Super Bowl. Have a good one.